Well, hi everybody. Welcome to Owosso Organics. My name is Pooh Stevenson, and my husband Richard Bowie is off to the side here, and we're here on this nice warm November day in hoop house number 5, and we're talking about organic foods and organic farming. And just a little history about our farm. We bought our farm in 1990, and right now it's 2011. And we've been certified organic since 1994, and we grow on our farm about 6 acres of vegetables, and we have 5 greenhouses, and we've been doing this full time since about 1998, where we got our stand at a local farmers market, and now our business is, we have 3 arms to our business. We go to 2 farmers markets, and one of those markets is from May until October. We go to the Meridian Farmers Market, where we're underneath the pavilion. We go to the East Lansing Farmers Market, which is a July to October market. And we have a CSA on our farm. This year will be our 8th or 9th year in CSA, and we have 70 shares in our CSA, and then we have our wholesale accounts, which include the East Lansing Food Co-op, and we sell to our local hospital, the Memorial Hospital, and then we have some other smaller wholesale accounts. We grow a diversified amount of vegetables, everything from plants we start in the spring. Starting out in the spring, we grow all of our own transplants, and we sell those at the farmers market and to the wholesale accounts. Then we have our spring season, which is our spinach, lettuce, the early greens, peas, broccoli, and then we'll move into our mid-season, our beginning of our summer season, which is our summer squash. What else, Richard? The early tomatoes in the greenhouse. Then we'll move into our regular summer season, which has our eggplant, all of our field tomatoes, our sweet peppers, our winter squash, and pumpkins, and I'm sure there's something that I'm forgetting. In our 5 greenhouses, we're able to do a couple of really important things. One, we're able to bring our crops in earlier in the season, and we're also able to extend our crops later in the season. The other thing that's really important about our greenhouses is that we're able to grow things inside the greenhouse that we're not able to grow outside. Every year in our greenhouse rotation, we have 1 in just tomatoes, 1 in our Lysianthus flowers, which is one of our specialty flowers. One of them has eggplant in the summer season. It's difficult for us to grow eggplant outside because of the flea beetles. And then 2 of them have our mixed greens, which segue in the summer into peppers and hot peppers. So that's how we have a 5-year rotation in our greenhouses. That works really well. We're in the newest house right now. This is hoop house number 5. This year, everything here was in Lysianthus until we pulled them out after they bloomed, and here we've got our fall and winter greens. In November, right now, we've got 2 more markets to go to. We've got the Thanksgiving market at Meridian. That's on the day before Thanksgiving, which is a Wednesday. And then we're also going to do the Winter Glow market in East Lansing. So we'll have our greens probably until, depending on how cold it gets, I'm going to say until about mid-December. We'll cover this middle aisle here, which has Swiss chard, spinach, and beet greens. We'll winter these over, and then we'll just cut these greens. These greens won't last throughout the whole winter. But in addition to the vegetables that we grow, we also have some beautiful cut flowers that we grow. And we offer a flower share in our CSA, and we also take bouquets to both farmers markets. And our specialty crop, Lysianthus, we also sell on the wholesale market. So all in all, our greenhouses are really important to us.
probably before your time and a lot of these people's time, that in the mid-70s there was this big PBB scandal with milk and cheese. They had, that's when we decided to become vegetarians, and when we decided that, we had to take the safeguard of our food into our own hands as much as possible. It was all from that mid-70s PBB thing, and coincidentally that's when the co-op came into existence in the mid-70s. So, I mean, that was kind of the precipitating, event that led us to go this path, per se, is to say, well, we want to have good, clean food. I guess we have to put that weight on our own shoulders and carry it. So, that was the beginning of it, the genesis of it, and that's pretty much the really simple principle that we went with since then. So long I can't even remember.
And when we first got certified in 1994, it was all just a mom and pop thing. I mean, it was Organic Growers of Michigan, and it was another farmer. Yeah, it was peer review. It was another farmer, a local farmer, that would certify you. The paperwork was very simple. I think if it cost $50, I'd actually be surprised. And it went that way for years and years and years until the USDA got a hold of it. And that's been a good thing and a bad thing. It's more uniform, but it's certainly been more expensive. And for small, diversified farmers like us, the paperwork can sometimes be a nightmare scene until you get the system. And we were talking about that a little bit earlier. But we do believe in organics because I think we've been organic since 1994, and there's been continuity in the whole thing. Our name is Owosso Organics. We'd have to change our name, and we don't want to do that.
Why have you stayed organic, even after the increase in requirements? And...
Yep.
Well, we believe that there's definitely a premium in what we do, even though that's been diluted by the homogenization of it at the USDA at the federal level. It's just that once we started going down that path and doing things the way we've done them, we've got better and better at that. And it just kind of lends itself to the continuity of it, and you build on things, and that was kind of the whole premise, that you try to get better and do it as best you can, and over time, some of that stuff, you have failures, you have some successes, and you have a chance to try to build on those things. It's just like anything in life, and we could switch, we could be eco, we could be natural, we could be any of those things, and we would still be doing things the exact same way we are doing them. And so we're used to jumping through those hoops and doing those back bends, and so the paperwork and the certification, upkeep and maintenance of that is unfortunate, and it's a pain, but we feel that it's a value still, and until we can find a different marketing model to do what we do, and at the standard that we do it at, and not have to do that, like that community plot idea over in Ann Arbor, where a group of individuals like-minded individuals living in the same area decide that we have 10 acres of green space here, let's grow food for our group here, and we'll go out and bring in somebody that's got the credentials to do it. Maybe we would say we don't need to be certified because we've got a captive market and we don't need certification. But right now we're still out selling in the general public, and we feel that the certification has value.
We also, when our kids were born, which our first daughter was born in 1993 and our second daughter was born in 2001, we had been organic for quite some time, but when you're beginning to feed this very small infant, all of a sudden the stakes become even so much higher. And we are vegetarians, and so we depend on vegetables a lot. So we've always just wanted to provide for our family, really first and foremost, the cleanest food that we possibly could provide. And then once we got that figured out and the gardens got bigger, it only made sense to continue to do things the way we've been doing things. And in the off season, when we're at the grocery store, we buy certified organic vegetables and fruits whenever possible. We know the big top 10 list of the products that we need to are the dirtiest products: the celery, the peaches, the broccoli, the potatoes, grapes, strawberries. So we just continue to do that in the off season because I don't want to put anything in my body or in my family's bodies that isn't as clean as it can possibly be. It's too scary to buy that stuff at this point. With the Michigan cottage food industry, that has allowed us to produce and sell our homemade hot sauce. And so we've been doing that now this whole season. Richard's been making the hot sauce from the hot peppers that we grow, from the garlic that we grow, and the onions and shallots. And so we have a number of different heat levels of the hot sauce. We have our label on it. It's all approved from the state of Michigan for the cottage food law. We've been selling that at the farmer's market. Also, we've been selling our hot pepper crumbles. And then just recently we started to dehydrate our tomatoes and sell as sun-dried or dehydrated tomatoes. It's been an amazing response to this hot sauce. It's extremely flavorful. It's a very unique product. It's homegrown, it's local, and we've been really pleased with the response that people have had. People have tried to request us or asked if we could, grow it in a larger quantity. Can we, go, national on this? But basically, it's everything that we grow here on the farm. It's a limited amount it's got a limited length of time that we have it available, and we've been really happy with the response.
And it's flavored vinegar.
Flavored vinegar, yes. Hot sauce or flavored vinegar.
What is the advantage for you guys to keep the operation small?
Well, we've been making that choice. We've been making that choice over the years because we do have 80 acres here on the farm. We could use a much larger business model. We could, there's I think 65 tillable on here. We grow on 6 acres of vegetables, and the 5 greenhouses. What that allows us is to be intimately involved in the majority of decisions that get made here on the farm. The larger you get, the more that decision making goes into somebody else's hands. It goes into a head crew master's hand, or it goes into your crew leader. Right now, the way we manage the farm is that Richard and I work full time on the farm, and on a typical year, which this was about a typical year, we had 2 almost full-time employees. And they're good guys. One of them has been here. This is his 2nd year here. They're real good workers. But with the 4 of us, it still makes us intimately involved in most of the decisions. I don't think that he and I, as we've been managing the farm over the years, would really be comfortable in getting so big that you begin, instead of doing, you really begin managing. It's really quickly, the larger the business model gets, the less hands-on you're doing, and you're doing really more managing of employees. We're really particular about how things get grown, cultivated, harvested, post-harvested, packed. We have really particular standards, how it's boxed, what box it's put in. Some of them are realistic standards and some of them aren't realistic, but that's just the way we do it. And I don't think either one of us, even though we're getting older and it would be nice to have somebody else do a lot of the grunt work, I still think that neither one of us would be very happy with not being the one to make most of these intimate.
Quality's probably our number one, goal. And as far as like the Lysianthus and the hot flavored vinegar, those are signature products or signature things that we do. And in a small model, a small agricultural model, one of the ways that you differentiate yourself from the rest of the folks is to have signature products. We're making a name for ourselves now. Why wouldn't we want to just go big and not everybody's dream is to go big. Obviously, it's not ours, but and you lose control of the signature item, the quality, and all that kind of stuff. And I think that there would be a market for people to say, I'm going to buy this because I know all this stuff was grown on that farm, and they did it, and I know these people, and whatever there would be a connection there, that's a bond over time. And I think that's why they don't want you to know what the ingredients are in your products. That's why they want you to know as little about your food as possible, because they don't want you to bond with the grower. They don't want you to bond with the process of how the food actually comes into existence and how it could be the most nutritious form brought to you. They don't want you to bond with that. They want you to bond with a logo or you know, some other a clown in a suit, or you know, behind Santa Claus, the most recognized symbol in the world is Ronald McDonald. So you know, you could diss marketing, but there's obviously it pays off. I like this picture of Ronald McDonald they had in a magazine. This was decades ago. This is like 30 or 40 years ago, maybe 50. No, not 50 years ago. Probably 40 years ago. And it showed Ronald McDonald, and he was pulling this clown suit apart, and there was just bones inside it. You know, like there's nothing inside here, but I look good on the outside, right? But ooh, like that. And I thought, you know, and that was that long ago, and still. Even
though there are similarities, there's a difference between corporate organics and local organics. And what I'm hearing from you is that you have this sort of level of authenticity in what you create. How can you, what sort of things could you all do to, I guess, motivate or inspire or change the larger model to want to bring in some of that authenticity into their practices or thinking?
I think you have to educate the consumer, really. I think it's, you know, things are consumer driven. When the consumers make a choice of shopping at the East Lansing Food Co-op and buying that spinach that's there versus buying something at Meijer's, whether it be organic or not. And of course, consumers know now that spinach that they buy at Meijer's has at least traveled 3,000 miles to get to their plate, whereas the spinach that they bought from the local grower has come, 20 miles? And it was harvested maybe a day ago or 2 days ago versus a week ago. So when you get the consumers demanding the food, wanting the local food, they make their choices with what they buy and what they're buying on that given day. They're buying at the food co-op, and they're not going to, you know, a big box store. And I don't mean to hack on Meijer's, but you know, any other big box store. I don't know that we as small farmers could really impact the corporate, you know, organic kind of thing. We do what we do, and we hope that the consumers do appreciate and see that what we do is a value added product. And so they're gonna, if they have to pay a little bit more, often they're willing to pay a little bit more. Often they can get it at the same price. But when you do vote with your dollars, and for every bag of spinach that they purchase from us, they're not buying a bag of spinach from a corporate organic business.
I disagree with Pooh. No, I agree with everything she said, but you can't just look at, well, how come we can't put a positive influence on the corporate, you know, food game? We're influencing it, there's no doubt, but oftentimes they find the shorter path as the way to go instead of emulating or trying to step up to the bar and you know, meet this new challenge. They turn around and do things, and there was an article in the Wall Street Journal not too long about how terms like natural and organic and you know, all these different things are way overused, and the buying public gets inundated, they get weary, they get worn down, and those terms become meaningless over time.
And on a you know, lighter spin to that too, there has been a huge growth in farmers markets over the last 10 years. I mean, they've been growing exponentially. When we first started at Meridian in 1996, Meridian was one of the few farmers markets in the whole area. We had people coming from Williamston, from DeWitt, from Lansing. Well, now all those places have farmers markets, which is a good thing and a bad thing, but more people are seeking out organic food. They're making a political statement by going to the farmers markets. That last day at the farmers market, which was just a couple of weeks ago, there was a palpable sadness by consumers.
Where am I going to get my eggs?
Where am I going to buy my greens?
Tomatoes.
You know, and oh, I don't want to go to, you know, the grocery store, and now I have to, you know, oh, I have to go to the grocery. I mean, they were really, really sad that they had to do that, and it really was heartening because it really. Going there to the farmers market, I mean, it is a social thing. You're there to see your friends. You're there to purchase local food, but it really means a lot to them to come there and to support local farmers like us. And that has, in 10 years ago, that wasn't so prevalent. It wasn't so meaningful to them. They were there out of habit, or they were there because their parents came. But farmers markets have become more integrated into people's life and what they do and what they like to do on a Saturday. And so they're seeking local food. And I've said this before, but the local umbrella is a larger umbrella than the organic umbrella. Both of them are good. It's good to be enveloped over both of them. We try to have our presence be known on both levels. We have a website, owossoorganics.com, and I've been blogging on a semi-regular basis this summer, which has lots of pictures of the farm. And I have people that live in Iowa that check out the blog on a regular basis because they want to see what's happening. Oh, you've got a local farm. Maybe they've got a local farm, or maybe they're sitting in Iowa and it's snowy outside and they just want to see pictures of greens. And so there's just been more people seeking organic food, and when they do that, they vote with their dollars.
So what I'm hearing from you is that yes, you're farmers, but you're artisans.
Well, you have to be at this level.
Yeah. Right. Well, you have to be everything at this level: mechanic, businessman, artisan, botanist. Yeah. I mean, and that is kind of, I think, why we like it, is because every day is different. Some days are more challenging than other days. No day is ever the same, and no year is ever the same. It's hard to get bored being a farmer. I mean, that's one of the really good things about it. But back to the trying the different things. Every year we do a couple of things. First, every year I always call Johnny's Selected Seed, and I talk to Ken Fine and say, what's hot on the horizon? What's that next thing? And then we also, in the wintertime, I'll watch the Food Network every once in a while to see what's that vegetable that chef is working with, that they're going to come to me in March or May or June or July and say, do you have any of the blah, blah, blah? And if I'm on it, then, I might have it.
Instead of growing food myself, I really wish that instead of that, I had a business that was teaching people, no matter how small your yard is or where you live, how you could grow as much as possible for yourself. And I would spend my day cruising to 10 different places and seeing what's going on and making suggestions to them and helping them. I'd be like the garden butler. And for most of the people, they'd be doing the work themselves, and they would be getting their fingers in the soil. And for those who didn't have time or couldn't, that there would be some kind of a youth group or an organization through school systems or something, so where we could get those able bodies out there and have them have some kind of introduction to how it works, and that people wouldn't be held hostage by the grocery stores or the Archer Daniel Midlands of the world. That they would actually have the knowledge to say, okay, I'm just going to do that myself. And that's kind of like, that's another reason, why we do what we do, because it's like, we don't have to do that. We can do this ourselves.
Buy it from local farmers, but even better, learn how to grow it yourself. I mean, teach a man to fish and, all that kind of stuff. The urban farming movement has been, growing in leaps and bounds. It would do two things. It would give the people, the ability to have the knowledge to grow their own food, and it would also give them appreciation for the difficulties of it. So it's a win-win situation. I mean, we tend to do the farm tours, which we've done for Michigan State and for MOFA and for different organizations, because it's like, we've got this skill, and even though you sometimes risk giving away all your secrets, and we always say, well, I would tell you that, but then I'd have to kill you. And that's one of my favorite jokes. But people are so far removed from knowing how to grow their own food or can their own food. And I'm talking only a couple of generations away from that. I mean, our parents did it. Clearly, our parents' parents did it. And yet the thought of you know, for CSA customers, you know, they've got, okay, this week they have an abundance of, you know, green peppers or something. Well, what do I do with it? Well, just chop it up and freeze. Well, how do I do that? Well, just chop it up.
And another one is herbs. They're constantly, oh, we got basil, you know, this many times in a row, and it's like, you dry basil. You make pesto out of basil. You have to, you know, it may take a little bit of work or a little bit of knowledge, but, you know, there's this thing called Google. It's pretty much, you know, your second brain. You know, you don't even need a brain anymore.
You'd be an expert in 20 minutes on anything. But no, but I think, but teaching people to, I mean, that, you know, we've kind of got the growing thing down. We can always be better at that. We can always be better at the marketing. We have to have our web presence, you know, be known a little bit and all that kind of stuff, a lot of stuff to do. But, you know, I think teaching people how to do it is another angle that we've never really explored. You know, I always shy at the word consultant, but, you know, there is that. I mean, people are so far removed from knowing how to do this. There definitely is skill involved in this, there's no doubt about it. But if you've got a front yard and you've got a shovel, you can grow food. You can grow a lot. You'd be surprised how much of your own food you could grow with very little technology and a limited amount of knowledge. And, you know, that would be my last.
That was nothing new.
That's awesome.